Even though I wrote about them, they probably do not know. That's why they're like cheering along with the song, right?
Right.
But the ones who are just staring at me like, they know.
Hi, this is Jean Danker, and welcome to another episode of the Are You Okay podcast. Today we've got actor, singer, fashion boy, Glenn Yong is here with us, guys. Hi, Glenn.
Hi Jean. Hi, Catherine.
And yes, I'd like to introduce Catherine as well. Catherine is our psychologist, so she's going to jump in and help us today and sort of give like mental health notes for us and tips as well, okay? Welcome, Catherine.
Thanks for having me.
Glenn, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you. I'm still very shy by your introduction.
Really? But don't you feel you do so many things? I feel like I can't say one thing to describe the person that you are. Before we even get to that, also just want to say that we met properly at Kim Lim's birthday party in Bangkok.
Yeah, like a month
or two ago.
Back. Yeah,
and it was the funniest thing ever because we hadn't met properly, and amidst this glitz and glamour of a party, we were having this, what I felt was like a heart-to-heart, genuine conversation.
Oh, yeah. Well, everyone was like drinking.
I know.
So,
And I thought like, this is so strange, but you know, I really appreciated that conversation. And that was when, of course, I was like, hey, would you come on to this podcast, you know, and share? Because I saw a side of you that I thought, you know, the viewers should see, the listeners of this podcast should see as well. So tell us a little bit about what you've been up to since then. I know you've been filming, you've also been like doing a lot of performing on stage, and then there's a lot of the traveling as well for fashion shows and all that. Please update us.
Oh man, so I kind of just touched down recently from Bangkok. So I just flew to New York Fashion Week, came back to Singapore, and then one day later I flew to Bangkok to meet up with some of my music friends. So I've just been doing a lot of music stuff, fashion related stuff, and I just finished filming my movie, And Not Stupid 3. Yeah, so that ended like 1.5 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so that took up, I would say, my entire June, July to August.
Okay.
Yeah, around like 3 months.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been crazy, like balancing acting, music, fashion, and also like social media at the same time.
Yeah. And that's my question for you. I mean, I'm just looking at you and like, you're keeping it together and doing
Barely.
and doing everything at the top of your game. So, maybe why the hustle? Firstly, like why are you doing so much? Yeah.
I think there's a few reasons. I think it starts off with like a dream.
Okay.
Like in my early 20s, I always have a dream to, you know, do movies in Singapore, to act in dramas, or like even do fashion, because I mean I really love fashion, right?
Yeah.
Like when you were young, you watch like together with my mom, we watched like fashion TV, and then like you watch like the Milan Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, like the models walking the runway, and you'll be like, oh man, that's cool. Like what if one day I actually get to see all of this live, you know? Yeah. So I guess all those kind of ambitions and like desires kind of like started when I was young, because I saw all these movies. Even I'm Not Stupid, I was actually inspired by that movie to become an actor.
Right.
Yeah, because when I actually watched the movie, I remember it was the second movie. I was still in primary school then.
Yeah.
I actually cried in the cinema for the first time.
Oh, cute.
I was 10. Yeah, I was 10 years old. And I actually cried, and I was so shocked because that was the first time a film impacted me in a great way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I told myself then when I was young, it was just like a random thought that like, hey, if like one day I become an actor, I want to like do shows like this where I can impact the audience and people who are watching the show. So I guess all these things kind of like built up when I was young. Yeah, but it was only in my early 20s that it became like a real like goal.
Yeah.
That hey, this is actually something that might be possible.
Yeah.
And then I started to work on it.
So was the acting thing the first thing that you wanted to do in the entertainment industry? Was that kind of like, okay, I really want to be an actor?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, before the actor, there's also another context, which
Okay.
is when I was young, I wanted to be an activist as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for what causes, I mean, when I was young, I didn't know what causes I want to stand up for.
Yeah.
But I just knew I wanted to be someone that stood up for causes, you know, like
Yeah.
be a voice for people.
Yeah.
So of course, when I grew older, I started to know what are the things that I feel strongly for. Like, for example, right now, I'm an activist for youth, for young people, youth empowerment, and also for cancer, to raise cancer awareness to people so they know what they can do to prevent cancer and all. So I guess all these things started, like I said, when I was young. So for actor, it's really because I want to have a platform. Yeah, like what I say, I want to be an activist, right? You want to be a voice for people. Of course, I do enjoy it. It's my passion.
Yeah.
But it is really at the end of the day for the platform so that I can advocate for the causes.
Right. Do you feel like you had to sacrifice a lot to get to your dreams? And what are these sacrifices?
Expectations. Oh yeah, sorry. So let me get to the point. So like, because there was nothing to lose for me in the sense to go for my dream, so I just went for it, right? So I would say right now I'm 26 and I'm really blessed and lucky because at this point I felt like I have already achieved most of my dreams that I have in my early 20s. Yeah, even when I was a youth, you know. So I'm really blessed in that sense. But also what I didn't realize is that, okay, now that I'm in this position where I'm at and who I am, many times when I meet people for the first time, to me it is a fresh meeting, right? Because I do not know them.
Yeah.
But when I meet them, I would feel a sense of expectation because they already know who I am. So sometimes when I'm a bit more human, when I'm around them, they will get like surprised, they'll get shocked. And then that's when I'll realize, hey, actually, why would they get shocked? Like I'm just a normal human being. Like why would they get shocked by me doing like normal human being stuff? You know, like for example, let's say if I sneeze or I cough. Yeah, so
What?
yeah, they're like, oh, I never seen that side of you. I'm like, bro, like, what do you mean? Like, I'm a human, I cough.
That's right, I'm not a robot.
Yeah, I'm not a robot. Like, I don't
guys.
look good all the time as well.
Yeah,
You know? Or like,
jeez.
sometimes when they see like me appearing like in my home clothes, like in a meeting, they're like, oh, I've never seen you like this side of you before, and they're not used to it, you know. So that's when I realized, okay, like I think I'm a little bit different. Like my life is a bit different now.
Correct.
Like they always have this expectation that I have to always look my best or be at my best all the time. Yeah.
One of the things I remember that we talked about was, you know, you fulfilling your dreams now in your 20s, you know, all the stuff that you wanted to do.
Oh, yes.
You know,
I
you've
remember
done
that.
all this but what really is next for you? What is the next step in your 30s, you know? And you don't have time to slow down
That
now.
is the question I'm asking myself now.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is that stressing you out at the moment, or are you kind of like, where's your headspace with that right now? Like, what's next for you? Because you have achieved quite a bit that you've already set out to do.
I think I remember I shared with you this when I was when we were in Bangkok.
Yeah.
Like, I think the scary thing for me recently was because I've already set out to do what I wanted to do, and I'm only in my 20s right now, but yet I feel like I do not know what's next. And for someone like me who is really ambitious and, you know, I'm always having like a goal or like a bucket list to chase after, all of a sudden I have nothing to look forward to. That scared me a little bit to a point whereby I no longer feel like I have something to look forward to in life. And that is scary because that wasn't the case for me the past 3 to 4 years when I started out in the industry. You know, I was like this super idealistic, super passionate guy that like I just want to like chase after my dream. Every day I'm like motivated. But right now, I felt like I lost my fire.
Yeah.
Like I'm just going through the motions, and it no longer felt like I was fully enjoying the whole process because it just felt like I'm doing everything to maintain whatever I have right now. You know, rather than I'm trying to gain new grounds, I'm trying to have a breakthrough.
Yeah.
So cost me a lot of sleepless nights, and I don't know how to say, like you just feel unenergized.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was something that I wasn't used to.
Now that you've achieved all these things, are you happy with your life?
I have been embarking on a journey of self-love and self-care
Yeah.
because I realized the past 2 to 3 years I've been working so hard that I never took breaks.
Yeah.
And I never did anything to love myself. Like maybe I lacked social life, and I lacked people around me that I could just talk nonsense with.
Yeah.
Or like just not do anything. You know, just like be around each other and just chill. I think that is what helped me to appreciate life more. Because the funny thing is, after I achieved like all my dreams and on my bucket list, I realized what I look forward to most is not even about like the next breakthrough anymore or like the next big thing to do. But what I look forward to now is dinners with my family and my friends. You know, like it became like the simple things in life that I am looking forward to rather than the big things. And I think that's funny because I think life really has a way of like humbling you. You know, like you thought all the big things that you're doing right now could make you happy, but that kind of doesn't define like everything that you are. It is at the end of the day the relationships and who's around you that matters.
I don't know if I can share this, but what you just said was actually a lot of this work this researcher was doing called Jean Danker.
Okay.
And he was saying that, okay, not just in Singapore, but in Singapore it's quite prevalent. There's this mantra, right? You work hard, you get all these things, then you be happy. You just suffer now. And then they
Right.
just drill that into you your whole life, But he says that it's actually the reverse. And the minute you tie your happiness to your achievements, once you achieve that, you're happy, but it evaporates after.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I
what?
experienced that.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's like, where is it gone? So what do I have to achieve now? And I think that's a lot of what you were feeling when you were lost, when you said like, now I've achieved all of this at such a young age. What is next, right?
Yeah.
And so, I'm really glad that you're reaching out to your family and you've got that down.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
mean,
important.
it's only very recent, like I would say the past 1-2 months.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, when I met Jean, at the point of that, I was still kind of like struggling. Yeah, I'm trying to find like, how can I get out of this rut? How can I get out of this depressed mood, Because the scary thing for me is how do I share this with my friends? How do I share this with people? Because to them, you have everything.
Yeah.
You have
Right.
everything you wanted.
Yeah.
Like, what is there to be unhappy about? So
Exactly.
that creates a fear in me that, oh no, I can't share this with anyone, because if I share with them, they will think that I'm ungrateful or unappreciative of what I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that really makes it harder. And of course, I'm also afraid, what if I share with them and they feel bad about their life? They're like, hey, come on, like,
Yeah.
and then they start to think about their life and they're like, I don't even have anything and this guy is like this. So I also didn't want to affect anyone in a bad way. That's why I didn't know how I can share with people about problems like this. Yeah. And I think it kind of sucks for me because I think I'm a really sensitive person in a sense. I enter a room, I can feel the vibe really quickly.
Yeah.
And I can tell, oh, this person likes this person doesn't like this person, even without them like really interacting with one another.
Right.
Yeah. And in the same way, when I talk to people, I can feel their sincerity and like if they're genuine or not. So because of this sensitive part about me, it's hard for me to make friends because I can sniff out like bullshit
Yeah. Right. off the
really
bat.
quickly. Yeah. And that is bad because
Right, that's a good thing.
sometimes
That's
I
actually a
wish that
gift.
I'm like more ignorant. Ignorance
Yeah.
is bliss, right? Like
Yeah.
at least I can enjoy like, oh, this person is like being nice to me and I do not know that person is being fake. I can just like, oh yeah. But I
Yeah.
know. So I
Yeah.
can't just like smile and like, oh,
Yeah.
because I know that it's not genuine.
So how do you respond when someone is not being genuine with
Yeah.
you?
No, I mean I just stay like professional. I wouldn't be rude to them,
Okay.
but I would just end the conversation pretty quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll move on because to me is I don't want to waste time. Like if I know you're not sincere or like genuine, but maybe you have to talk to me because it's your job, or like it's your work. Maybe like it's a crew or like it's like a PR person or like anyone. Like maybe they have to talk to me because they have to.
Yeah.
Like I will save them the trouble by ending the conversation earlier for you, since I can feel that you don't really want to talk as well.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, but I won't be rude. I'll just
Yeah.
like I'll still reply the questions and I'll still answer like genuinely, but I just wouldn't maintain that conversation
Yeah.
long. Yeah.
Can I ask how you deal with the haters out there? I mean, people look at you and they have a general impression of you, like you were talking about this earlier on as well. Like, okay, this guy has everything. He rose so fast. He's out there doing everything, and successfully and very well at the same time. I mean, we're only human. I think it's difficult to deal with people saying bad shit about you in any way, shape, or form on social media pages or whatever. How do you deal with it? Is it something you're good at dealing with now? Have you learned better, or I don't know?
Now, yes. Now, yeah, I think I'm dealing with it pretty well. But when I first started, no. Because when I first started, I didn't have any like backing. Like none of my friends or like family members were from the entertainment industry. So you kind of like start off like with nothing, no connections, nothing. It's pure hard work and like passion. So of course at the start when I did it, there were a lot of people that they weren't supportive because they just felt it was impossible. And of course it didn't help that because I'm so idealistic, right? So at a point of time, anyone that I meet, I will share with them about my dreams. Like, oh, I wanna like go fashion week. I wanna like do it a movie. I wanna be a male lead. I wanna be the top star like of like Singapore and all. Like I'll say dreams like this, like really idealistic, like without any bad intention. And then these people will be like, they look at me and be like, are you serious? Like, are you sure? Yeah,
I
like
love that you would do that. You know what I mean? Like sort of getting in there and visualizing your future. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really awesome.
I
A
think
dream of
maybe it's the
yours.
otaku side of me because like I mean I watch a lot of anime.
Yeah.
So like Naruto, One Piece, and all this anime, the main characters, they all have big dreams.
Yeah.
You know, they all and they are unashamed of like their dreams and sharing their dreams with people.
Yep.
So I thought the real world is the same, you know, like
Yeah.
I could just be like a Naruto, like a Luffy, like, oh, I want to be king of pirates, or like, I want to be like Hokage kind of like stuff. But I realized when I shared something like this, people weren't as receptive.
You come from a
Like-
pure place, though, you know?
Yeah.
Right. It's a pure place.
Yeah, but then the real world hit me hard, you know,
Right.
and that's when I learned how to
Okay.
navigate through like everything. So honestly, I think I'm still the same.
Yeah.
Like I'm still at the same heart, but it's just I learned how to express myself differently, because not everyone is as receptive to that, you know.
Okay.
So it really depends on the environment that you're in. But
Yeah.
anyways, back to that, like because I was like this, so a lot of people started to hate on me and kind of like destroy like my dreams to tell me it's impossible. Even like I wouldn't drop names, but even veterans from the industry or like professionals, people who has done it all, they would tell me to like stop like dreaming or like it's not possible in Singapore. Yeah, and they will give like a list of like examples in Singapore, and I see none of them made it. So, you know, like you
Right.
should
Yeah.
be more realistic and all. So I would say that was like my first wave of haters, and then secondly is when I started to make progress, and then people saw, hey, like, sheesh, this guy is actually like doing what he said he wants to do. Then they start to like, you know, like, oh, he's a wannabe. He wants to, he's trying really hard. You know, like he's just a Singaporean. Why is he trying to act like he's like an international? You know, like kind of stuff. Like why is he
yeah.
trying to look international? He's just local. To me, first of all, it's like what do you mean like act local? So do you mean like our local stars are bad? Like
Yeah.
that is the impression you have.
Yeah.
You know, then that reflects a lot on how they view like our local entertainment scene. You know, because to me, I believe Singaporeans have a lot to offer. Like Singaporean artists and anyone in the scene,
Yep.
we can be on a global stage as well. That has always been my belief since day one.
Yep.
But these haters, it feels like they always have a bad impression of local artists. That's why they try to compare like us with like, you know, international people and always put like local people down. So that's not what I think and believe. So I have to deal with that stigma and that hatred. And then lastly is when you finally made it, some of them will still say, like it's luck, or like he probably like he did some stuff that to get like some under table stuff, you know, to get
Right,
to where
right.
he is at today. They're just like in this disbelief mode. So I realized something, which is you can never please all these people and you can never get all these haters out. Like it will always be there. So I learned to dance with them, you know, like in a sense, like, yeah, I mean, you're not gonna get rid of them, so might as well make the best out of like all of these things, right? So how I dealt with it was I wrote songs about my haters.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have like 2 rap songs that I released over the past 1-2 years. One is called Up Up, and another one is called Breakout. So if you look at the lyrics, it's pretty fierce. It is things that I can never talk about on interviews, because people will be like, "Oh, that's intense." You're like, "Oh, like who hurt him, man?"
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Oh my god.
Yeah, so like
okay.
I can't really talk about these things in interviews because it's just too heavy and like serious. But when I do it in a form of like rap or a song, nobody can fault it. Nobody can say anything because it is a song. Yeah, so that is in a sense my form of therapy, to express all the hurts and the pain and the hate that I received in my life. I felt like that was a way for me to take everything, put it in a song and push it back out to the crowd. And in this way, it is fun for me because ever since I wrote the songs, I've performed it countless of times, even in front of the very people that I wrote the song about. Yeah, and like it is fun because like
Wait, do they know this?
I was
Or,
just gonna- yeah.
do
I think
they-
some of them
think
they
some
know.
know
Okay,
this, right?
you know how I tell if they know?
How?
Like, so in a crowd, right? Like perform at festivals and all, the people that really cheered, even though I wrote about them, they probably do not know. That's why they're like cheering along with the song, right?
Right.
But the ones who are like, just staring at me like, They know. Yeah. And like
You feel it.
yeah,
you
and
feel
I know
the
they know.
energy. You're
So
like,
I'm just
"Oh,
looking at that corner. I'm looking at those bunch of people, and I'm just like like singing, and it feels good for me because like.
Yeah,
like all these people are
yeah.
like cheering along with the song, right? And it's actually
gosh.
about them.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty funny.
my
And they can't
gosh.
say anything because I'm not outrightly scolding them. Like I'm just
Exactly.
performing.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
But if you feel it's about you, then you know you've done shit to me and
Yeah.
you deserve it. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
You get what I mean? Like
I get
then
it.
not like you shouldn't destroy someone's dreams. You shouldn't try to discourage someone and put someone down, especially when they have not done anything to you. So to me, it is also okay. This is a lesson for you to learn. You know, like never put anyone down because
Yeah.
you never know, like what they might do or who they might become in the future. You know, and that's also my mantra, which is you treat everyone the same. You know, the funny thing is a lot of opportunities that I've gotten today in my career were given to me by people who, when we were all nothing, I was nothing, they were nothing, we were friends. And we didn't judge each other. Like I was helping them, they were helping me. So they remembered that. And when they came into a position of power or influence, they remembered me. And they came to me and like, hey, I want to give you this opportunity. Maybe like 5 or 6 out of 10 of my opportunities were given to me by people whom I have worked with or I've interacted with before we became where we were today. Yeah, so that to me was like, wow, okay, I'm so glad that like I maintain this heart, you know, like to treat
Yeah.
everyone the same way with respect. And that is how, you know, goodness can come back to you in your life.
Correct.
Yeah, so that was pretty special for me.
You know, you mentioned earlier about like some veteran artists who, you know, sort of like said not so nice things and just kind of like, you know, shot you down in all your dreams and all that. Without naming any names, could you tell us maybe one example of like what a said person said to you that was really damaging, that maybe it appeared on your song or something?
So they'll say stuff like, you'll never be a male lead in your life. You're not a male lead material. So that to me at the beginning of my career, obviously every actor, your dream is to act in a show where you can be a male lead, right? Or be like a main character so you can fully experience the show. But that was said to me before I even started like my career, and it is by someone that I kind of respect at that point of time. Obviously the respect was gone after that, right? It hit me a lot. It's like the people that you watch on TV telling you that, you know, before you even started, you're like, oh, how do you swallow that? How do you like deal with that, you know? So that was tough. And of course there were like another veteran that would say things to me like, you have no money, you have no connections, like who do you think you are? Like you think you're gonna like make it in this? And I was shocked because this person seemed nice,
Yeah.
you know, like in all my years of watching this person. But when we had our private conversations, these were the things that were said to me. And I'm not exaggerating, by the way, it's like true story. So it's like how like, and then they would like even point out like, oh, your family, like your parents, at the point of time it was COVID. So like they would say like, oh, because my dad was a tour guide, but because of COVID he can't bring tours, right? So he's like driving Grab and all. So he was like, this person would say like, oh, your dad is just a Grab driver, your mom just like does like home bakery and stuff, like what can they do for you?
Oh my God.
Like I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
right in front of my face, like because it's a older person, right? So I can't scream or like fight back, you know. I just have to
Yeah.
like listen and like swallow it, you know, like
Yeah.
okay, like whatever, like whatever you say. But I do remember all of these things, so it's tough. Like I mean, these are like the most severe stuff. A lot of it is just because maybe some of the veterans they have never ventured overseas, but my dream has always been to I mean, I hope that I can be in Hollywood one day.
Yeah.
You know, like why not, right?
Why
like
not?
right now,
Yeah,
especially like there's so
exactly.
many Asians in Hollywood. So it is my dream to be in Hollywood one day, or even to be in China to act in the dramas there, because I mean for the Mandarin speaking world, China is the biggest in terms
Yes.
of the drama and the movies. So when I tell that to veterans, some of them would tell me that it is not possible. Like, I mean, they've tried and it doesn't work, and it is them. So it's you. You think you can make it? Like they were like make comparisons like this. I was like,
God, Glenn, oh my
why would you say such stuff? But like,
Yeah. People you idolize and watch on the telly, that's really tough.
Yeah. So I mean, they're not just random uncle aunties.
Yeah.
You know, they are like, yeah, veterans. So I won't name drop, but yeah, it's just like this. So
Okay.
it is tough. It is tough. I would say the industry is not all like fun and like nice. I'm not sure if you've been through like your fair share of like experiences like this when
Yeah.
you were like starting out, but yeah, these are things
Yeah.
that I had to deal with.
Yeah.
So yeah, as crazy as it sounds, it is reality. This is
It
the real
is.
world. Yeah.
I'm sorry you went through that though.
It's okay. It gave me a lot of motivation. I mean, I thank God for them because they gave me so much motivation to
Yeah.
to work even harder, to write even more songs. And if not for these experiences, I may not even have my songs. I may not even be able to perform at
Yeah.
festivals or like have a chip on my shoulder to, work even
Correct.
harder or feel
Yeah.
like my back is against the wall. So
Yeah.
thank you to all of you who have done this to me. Really, you guys made me who I am today. So thank you.
That's really nice. I think maintaining the goodness of your heart in a harsh environment
Yeah.
like the entertainment industry is something very, very difficult to achieve. So I think you've really stuck to your guns, and that's really awesome, Glenn.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah,
awesome.
that's great. Has there ever been a time where you believed some of the hate and it took a toll on you and your mental health?
Belief, to be honest, yes, I do. That's why I say like nowadays I'm doing better, but in the past it affected me a lot. So much so that I even wrote a song, right? I mean, that's because I remember everything they say. Yeah, that's how I even got to write the lyrics. So at the start, or like even in the middle point of my career, like I always have a lot of self-doubts. Like at a certain point in my life, I have to take in the what ifs, like what if what they're saying is true? Like what if I really cannot make it? What if I really do not have these qualities, or it's just not possible? So I think those hit me quite a lot. So beyond all the success and the dreamer side of me, there's also a side of me where a lot of people don't see, which is I actually break down a lot. Like at events, I'll usually go to the toilet halfway through and I'll like just cry and be like, I can't do this.
No, are you
Yeah,
serious?
really. Yeah, like
Oh no.
because I will feel inadequate about myself. Like, wow, I don't think I'm good enough for this. So there's two types, like first is when I haven't achieved it, I will doubt myself. I'll feel bad. I'll feel like, I can't do this. But the next day, somehow, maybe it's my character. Like, I'll still just push it through because I always have the underdog mentality. So when people tell me I can't, yes, I'll like cry and then break down, be sad. But somehow when I'm sad, a part of me will be like, hey, wake up, man. Like,
Yeah.
like your back is against the wall. Like, all the more these people say you can't, and maybe you really can't. But that's how you know you need to work on all these areas. And then from there, I'll like work hard in all these things that people say I can't do or like I'm not good in.
Yeah.
And that helped me to improve and grow, But the second part of that discouragement is when I'm at this stage right now in my life where it feels like, okay, like I'm at the top of my game. But then sometimes there is an imposter syndrome, where you're not feeling your best that day, or all these other people around you are way better in their skills or in their experience, but you're in a position where you're higher than them. I would doubt myself. Yeah, so it's really weird, like mindsets and thoughts like, I don't belong here, or I don't deserve to be here. Like, for example, music. Like over the past 1 year, I was performing at like festivals, New Year's Eve countdown, like big music shows in Singapore. Like, it is a dream come true, but many times when I perform on those shows, I look at all the other artists, I start to feel like I don't deserve to be here. Because these people have been doing music for like 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. They have been in the game for such a long time, but yet I only started music for a year plus, and I'm on the stage, like the same stage as them, or sometimes even worse, like I'm like the final act.
Yeah.
They're like before me. But then I look at them like, oh man, like these people, they sing for such a long time. They're like such great vocalists, powerhouse vocalists. And to me, I don't even think I'm there, I feel like I have so much more to improve and work on.
Do you
It's bad.
still feel this way now?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
honestly, I still struggle with that. That's why like my team is really sweet. They always like try to hype me up. They're like my
Yeah.
hype man. So like
You got this.
yeah,
You got this.
before
Come
I go
on.
like on events or like meet and greets, I'll feel really down.
Oh god.
Yeah. Like it's
Yeah.
something that I can't control. I'll feel really down. I'll feel really like low energy, and they can sense it. They're like,
Yeah.
come on, you can do it. You deserve this. You deserve the fans that are standing outside.
Yeah.
You deserve the scream and cheers. Come on, like,
Yeah.
you're like, you are the Glenn Yong. So like they just like hype man, you know, like,
Yeah, that's
like,
great.
Really,
That's
I'm
great.
very glad for that, because if they don't do that, then I'll just wallow like in like very low energy and like
Yeah.
imposter syndrome. I'm like, oh, like I don't deserve all this crowd and fans and like people screaming, or like I'm just not good to be here, not good enough to be here.
Downward spiral.
Yeah, on a
almost,
downward
right?
spiral. So yeah, this is something that I'm dealing with, that is new to me, because I've always been an underdog like mentality, right? But now that I feel like I've gotten to a certain level, it is the opposite, where I feel like I don't deserve to be here. Last time it was like I deserve to be here, even though like, you know,
Yeah.
like all these people are like veterans. I'm gonna show them like a new generation can make it as well. A young person can make it as well.
Yeah.
But now it's like the opposite.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
How do we deal with that? Like
don't
the
know.
imposter syndrome. How do you? Is there
Yeah, how
are
do you
there
deal with
ways
it?
to deal with that? I mean,
There are
Okay.
lots, and there are different types of characteristics that that are displayed. But that sounds like quite classic imposter syndrome. Definitely. I think a lot of what people do is number one, reframing. I know that's a very common thing, but it's really asking yourself, what are the facts here, and do I believe it or not? Right. So is it an opinion, or is it a fact? And really being conscious about that and going, okay, this is what they are saying and this is what I've done, right? Other people like to look at things that they already have done to show that this is actually not true. And it's really actively challenging that mindset again and again. And it's exhausting. But
yeah, I would
it takes
imagine.
practice. It's like a muscle. And the more you use it, the stronger it gets. And just, I guess, believing in yourself. And yeah, being kind to yourself, because oftentimes
Yeah.
the person that we are the most unkind to is
Yeah.
ourselves. And I'm so sorry to hear that you've been crying in the toilets. You know, that sounds rough.
yeah.
Really rough.
It's like I said, I don't know how to share like this with people, because they'll be thinking, what the heck? Like,
But you see, everybody has like different troubles,
Yeah,
right? Now we all have a
absolutely.
different set of troubles, but it doesn't mean one is more or less than the other, because they're huge, because they're your troubles, right? So I guess there's no comparison with troubles, and I think we find that difficult to deal with when people tell us, like for example, you're afraid that, you know, because you have so much success, like people are gonna go like, why are you like, you know, feeling sad and all that? You should enjoy in it, but it's your troubles and it's big to you, and this is what you're dealing with. So people often, I find, compare what goes on in their head, but we should try to stop doing that, isn't it?
Exactly.
Right?
Yep. And I think, Jean, I just want to validate you for validating him and saying that his troubles are real,
Yeah,
right?
they're
And
real.
they're valid,
Yes.
right? And I would like to encourage you to speak about them. Don't bottle it in, because it'll hurt you in the long run. I do feel.
Yeah. Speaking of like, you know, family and all that, how hard is it for you to date? I'm assuming it's like the worst thing ever. I'm sure you're no short of suitors, Glenn, but like actually dating somebody that you really like is tough.
I really, really want to date. Yeah. I really want to have.
How can
a
we help
girlfriend.
you? Like, how can we put a word out right now? I don't know. Can we help you with this?
Yes. Like, I feel lonely, to be honest, many times. Like when I'm performing or like when I'm having a great time, I always be like, man, I wish like I have someone that I can share all of these things
Yeah.
with. You know, like when I travel to like different countries for work and you get to see all the exciting stuff, many times I'll be like, oh man, I wish like I have a girlfriend or like I have like a wife that I can like share these moments with, but I don't, you know. So it is always like, okay, I'm gonna keep all this in like a bucket list, so that next time when I'm actually attached, I can like bring my girlfriend or like my wife to all these places or
Yeah.
like all this exciting stuff. So it does get lonely. Right now it is just almost impossible, because first of all, I don't meet new people as often. Contrary to popular belief. Yeah, like I'm always with my team.
Yeah,
I'm always
yeah.
with the same few group of people that I'm shooting with, working with. And secondly, the people that I meet at work, it's hard for me to connect because, like I said, new people that I meet nowadays, they already knew like who I am, or like they've seen my stuff, or they've read interviews about me. So they always come with preconceived ideas or impression of who I am, how I'm like. So when I talk to them, it doesn't feel fresh.
Right.
Yeah, because like when I talk to them, I realize, hey, they know that about me already.
Right,
or like
right.
they already form a certain impression. So it's just hard to connect with someone from scratch, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I actually miss that
Yeah.
connection.
I mean, it's really hard to form like genuine connections, I feel. I mean,
it is,
generally
yeah.
in person already, I think it's quite hard to form like genuine connections, right?
For sure.
Especially if you're like already doing stuff that everybody knows about, has read about, or seen you do stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, like how do I know you're in it because you like me for me? Like, how are you going to get to that point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I did try to like date, even though like these people, they kind of know about me, but it never end in a like, okay, I would say it ended in a good way. Like
Okay.
it wasn't like, oh, they hate me or
Yeah.
I hate them.
Yeah.
But it never works out. Yeah, it just
Okay.
never works out like well. So
Is that
It-
because they already know stuff about you, or
yeah, okay, like a few examples, okay, like because they already knew about me, so I think the impression they have of me, or like they maybe already put me on a pedestal.
Okay.
So when you actually date someone, you get to know them better, you get to live life with them for a little bit, spend time. They get to see your flaws as well, right? So that veil kind of like
yeah.
is taken away, and because they have such high expectations unknowingly, I don't blame them, but maybe because of like my position and who I am, they have such high expectations of who I am. When they actually see the flaws in my life, they get disappointed, or like, you know, like it's easier for them to get disappointed because
Yeah.
the expectation is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to deal with that disappointment that they have. Or like sometimes they will try to hide it, but I can feel it as well, you know. So it's tough because it feels like I haven't found someone that loves me for who I am, for Glenn, not the Glenn Yong that they see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
No,
Yeah,
the
it's tough.
right
It's tough,
person
yeah.
is going to love all that about
I
you.
know,
you
I know,
you
but I
that,
just haven't
right?
met that right
I know.
person
And
yet,
you're
I guess.
26, you got time, my friend.
lots of time?
I think so too. So I don't think you have to worry about that. I mean, I understand it's a lonely process, especially when you're hustling hard to get to your dreams. But sometimes I think going to get to your dreams, you need to have like that solo path to like
yeah.
get it, done, right? I feel
Yeah.
like, I think you're on the right path. So I think it's going to happen for you. And the right chick
Yeah.
will
I'm manifesting.
be the right chick watching right now will fall on your lap when the time is right, okay? Well, thank you so much, Glenn, for sharing today, and thank you, Catherine, for being here as well. Thanks, guys, for watching.
And they came down to the funeral, and like some were more tactful, some were less tactful, but the gist of it is that all of them were asking like, when are you coming back to work?